So, next track event coming up, the men's 1500 metres. Of course, we had the women's final last night. Ciara Mageean winning for Ireland. Her compatriot Nick Griggs in this. We start on the outside with Pietro Arese of Italy. Round of applause I can hear behind me for him. 2 times a world indoor finalist. He's improved this year to 3:32.13. We skip past Adel Mashal, former European indoor champion over 3,000. Narva Gilia Nordos, bronze medalist over 1,500 metres. Behind, of course, Josh Kerr, who won that gold medal in Budapest. And Nordas, coached by Jakob Ingebrigtsen's father, Geert. Garcia of Spain, sub 3:30 at best, always a mark of a world-class athlete. Filip Rak there of Poland, one of those who's improved this year, winning the Polish indoor double over this distance and over 3,000 metres as well. And then Nick Griggs of Ireland. He's still just 19 years of age, but he won the European under-20 title 3 years ago. Just turned 16 on that occasion. And it was an incredible performance. I mean, we've talked about Ireland and their long wait since 1998 it was, and Sonia O'Sullivan, it's one of the Polish athletes, gets a little bit left behind there at the start. It wasn't quite switched on. But, yeah, suddenly with 2 gold medals, but Ireland hadn't won that many under-20 or under-23 medals, but it's a great generation, including Rashida Adeleke individually, who's had some terrific performances, and it will really breed confidence, just, you can say, about Norway's golden generation. Jakob Ingebrigtsen, of course, to come, and Nordas himself, I'm sure, inspired by the Ingebrigtsen brothers in one way or another. Karsten Warholm, also part of this session, of course. Do stay tuned for that. But, Tim, we've seen some fantastic men's 800-metre racing. What about the 1,500 metres here?
Well, it'll be typically a race of jeopardy, this. It's slow. They've gone through 300, way outside 60 seconds pace, and here they come through 400, Alex, and this is going to be about 63, something in that sort of range. There is 64.09. Desperately slow, and this is championship racing in the qualifying rounds. This is where it goes, no pacemakers. So yeah, we're in for a lot of excitement here, a lot of dust-ups, quite a few disappointments. Neil Gourley going in this one for Great Britain in 4th place in wonderful form after that 3:47 mile at the Prefontaine meeting. Great comeback from Gourley, who's had problems for the last few months, but he's obviously got himself back into great shape as they ease around this one. Now, if you're going to be in a slow race, you want to be either off the curb so you can react to a move at the front, or else near the front, very near the front. You cannot afford to be right back there in the middle of the pack with the 10 or 12 bodies in front of you and outside you, because you're going to be badly boxed. And look at this, 7, 8 across.
Yeah, incredible. It's a similar situation to the European indoors last year for Neil Gourley. On this occasion, no Josh Kerr. So he has the opportunity, really, to assert himself on this field. Gourley, a little bit boxing on the inside, but a little bit of space there. Yeah, silver medal behind Ingebrigtsen in Istanbul indoor last year. And he's also had to fight to get back to his best, but as you say, they're in good form. Arese also running the long way round, and Gourley making that good move to get himself into a much better position.
Well, Mashal, very experienced racer, he's been around a long time, great speed, 3:30 man, and at the front there, the Spanish, as ever, look after themselves so well in championship racing situations. And Nordas moving down the outside there, trying to get back on terms with the front 4 or 5, but of course it's beginning to stretch out now as Mashal has wound it up really well.
So, hitting the bell now, 2:51.75. Mashal at the front for Spain, 3:30.321 this year in Oslo, and certainly using his experience very well. And Neil Gourley will try and stick to him and stay in this strong position he's found himself in. Nordas still with a bit of work to do, even though he's moved up in the last 400. The pace has pushed on at the front, so vital that he did do that. Nordas now falling back a little more, in fact. Michal from Gawley. The two Spaniards at the front in the orange and yellow as well, as Michal grits his teeth. Tries to push on down the home straight. Top six to go through, and Gawley surely assured now. Reze coming towards the line. Gawley looking round. He's done enough, and look at that. Almost a collision as they cross after 1,500 metres. 3:44.05 confirmed as the official winning time there for Neil Gawley, and it almost got quite messy as they came across the finish line. Reze, fast finish. He did what he needed ultimately. He was on the outside, didn't mind going the long way round.
Well, I got Gawley's last 800 at about 1:49 flat. Brilliant, and he was still looking relaxed coming down the home straight. He's in wonderful shape, the Briton. He doesn't have a super fast finish, but he's a bit of a, I suppose you could say, he's a bit of an Ingebrigtsen. He's really strong. He's able to hold his form really well around the last lap, and for me, he looked the best in that race. Not only did he win it, glancing around and easing back, but it was just the manner of his run there, Gawley. He kept in control, he was well positioned throughout the race. That is a bizarre shot, 7 or 8 across with about 500 to go. But look at Gawley here. This is a 1:49 last couple of laps, and looking very, very relaxed indeed. I was a little bit worried he'd ease off too much. Ooh, that's tight for the minor places, because it's not a quick race, Alex, and for the guys in the second heat, and well, it's the first 6 anyway, so no automatic qualifier.
Well, we're all adjusting to that, Tim. The athletes are as well, so you know, no blame there at all. Verheiden, Mornay, and Palic, the early leader, Rafael Palic, turning into a good championships for the Austrians. You know, that medal in the discus, very strong medal chances in the women's javelin, as we've just seen, and Palic doing what he needed to do to make it through. But yes, we must reflect some more. Very astute of Neil Gawley. Similar situation to the women's contingent in the 1500, where we said no Laura Muir, and we had Georgia Bell and Gemma Reekie. I'm sure Neil Gawley would have watched that race last night, the women's 1500 metre final. He would have seen Georgia Bell's silver medal. He would have seen Gemma Reekie just drifting backward.
The qualifiers, and that big shock that Nordash didn't get through.
Yes, but you could kind of call it with more than a lap to go. Nordash, he was making that move and expected to see him appear very much on the shoulder of the leader, but drifting back. Of course, though, he does the 5,000 metres in the legs. Was that a yawn there from Jakob Ingebrigtsen? Come on, this isn't too early a start.
It's not an early start, but it is a big moment for these 15 men in the second heat of the men's 1,500 metres. Adam Fogg goes into this one, 3:49 miler for Great Britain. Andy Coscoran, a 3:30 performer at his best. The Irishman, 3:32 this year. How will he go here? Coscoran, 27 years old, 3:32 in Oslo, just 10 days or so ago, where he finished in 10th place. He'll need to go a lot better than that here. The first 6, remember, go through by right. What a championships the Irish are having already. Habs, watch him, big performer, 3:29 PB, 3:30 this year Habs has run. And, that was a 3rd place in Oslo. Again, as I said, 10 days or so ago. Riva goes in this one as well. I think he ran in the 800, did Riva. Ingebrigtsen, well, he is the reigning champion. He's the Olympic champion. He's not yet world champion at 1,500 metres. Lost, remember, to Jake Whiteman and Josh Kerr in the last couple of world championships, but supremely confident. He is the European record holder with 3:27.14. He's the fastest in Europe this year with 3:29, the only European under 3:30 in 2024, and the Norwegians, of course, here in good numbers and proudly waving their banner. Fieldstrom goes there for Sweden. He's a 3:34 performer. This likely to be a slowish race again. No non-automatic qualifiers. First 6 go through by right, so the same status for these fellas, and a much fairer system. First 6 go through by right, as in the first heat. Well, what will Ingebrigtsen do here? Because he's not a naturally fast runner. He's jogged off over the first few meters, goodness me, way behind the rest, Ingebrigtsen. He's 7 or 8 meters down after 100. What is he playing at? This is utterly bizarre. And if they push it hard from the front, well, he's going to struggle to get back on terms with them, certainly for the next couple of laps. Why give yourself that much work to do after 200 meters? It's very strange indeed. The athletes at the front. Baltus is the Dutch competitor for the Netherlands, a 3:34 performer. Now Ingebrigtsen just easing through. There's something of the sort of Mo Farah about this. He always used to hang around towards the back of the big races and then ease his way through in the last couple of laps. But Ingebrigtsen watching everything that's going on, not wanting to get too involved. And I think probably wanting to economise. He has got that 5,000 final in his legs, Alex, I suppose, even though it was a few days ago. But Baltus leading here from Elma of Switzerland. And this is not quick, but perhaps a little bit quicker than the first race.
Well, yes, I mean, he does have that in his legs, but he's used to doubling up in this exact way at the last two European Championships and winning gold across both events. So don't see it being a huge factor when you consider also that he didn't have to run a preliminary round. And yes, if he wasn't feeling like doubling up, the fact that it was a straight final might have helped him in that sense. And trying to make a move through on the inside there. It's again a bit of a squabble in the middle. We've seen a couple of falls, particularly in that steeplechase heat, where there was 3 fallers, I think it was. They'd all made very dicey, very nervous viewing.
So they enter this penultimate lap with Ingebrigtsen right towards the back, boxed on the inside. He's got plenty of time, 2:01 at 800 metres. Remember the last 800 in the first heat, semi-finals in effect, just 2 races before the final, was about 1:49. Ingebrigtsen, you would think, would want to start easing round towards a more sensible position, but perhaps he's happy enough. Fogg of Great Britain on the shoulder of Baltus. He's running good tactical race at the moment, and Adam Fogg, although he didn't have a great run in Oslo last week, was disappointed with that. Koskoren now moving through, Andy Koskoren towards the bell. This is smart running from the Irishman. Baltus there in second. Fogg losing his position at the moment badly as they go through the bell. He's back in about 9th place, and it looks like there's a fall there, and there is. And 4 men have gone down. Oh, that's disastrous. That is disastrous. And the Swede, I think, is really suffering there. It looks like he's hurting. It's Pilstrom who's on the ground. The rest of them, though, easing through. And Fogg back in about 9th place now. Just doesn't look to have the legs. It's the first 6, remember, who go through by right. Ingebrigtsen moving up towards the top 6, easing past the pole now. Viderka into 5th place, round the outside into 4th. Very impressive last 300 this for Ingebrigtsen. He had it under control all the time, didn't he? Riva, the Italian, down the home straight in front. Ingebrigtsen down the outside, and Fogg run right out of this one. Bit of a disaster this for the Briton, as Riva is just passed by Ingebrigtsen there as they cross the line. 3:37, much quicker than the first race, but what a shame, what an untidy, messy race. And there will, of course, be reviews galore of that big instant just after the bell where 4 men went down. Pilstrom suffering the most of all of them, looked like he'd hurt himself. Hope it's not serious. Riva goes through to the 1500 final, but that is championship middle distance qualifying in that very race there. Typical. Violent, pushing, shoving. Don't like to see anybody go down. Watch this again. Now, what causes it? Bang! It's the German who goes down. And then the Portuguese, and rolling around on the inside, the Belgian as well. That's a Vermeulen. Oh, dear.
Well, Baltus, I think it was, in the Dutch vest there, the orange, put his hand on the back of Hab to try and get some space, but he was going down at the time, just couldn't stop himself from falling to the ground. The race did open up, of course, but not in the circumstances he would have hoped it would do. Ingebrigtsen kind of switched himself on there, as you said, with 300 to go, and made it so easy.
He looked good, didn't he? Very powerful, very fresh. Glances across there at Riva, smiling at Ingebrigtsen. The rest of them qualifying quite comfortably. Riva going through for Italy, and Meslek as well, the 2 Italians getting through without any trouble from that one. Looks like Koskoren there as well, but there's 3, 6, 7 men in shot, and the man missing out, well, it's the Spaniard in this one. I think it's Fontes who finishes in 7th place. We'll be able to confirm that for you now. It was Fontes who went out in 7th place. The first 6 go through by right. Ingebrigtsen, Riva, Habs, Meslet, Koskonen, and Nada. And 2 Italians making it through to the final from that second heat. And some big names, just not even close to it. It's very rare, Alex, that you see 4 people go down in a qualifying heat like that. I don't think there's much you can do about it. Confirmation again of those 6 who have gone through.
Yeah, opportunity to advance some athletes. I'm sure there'll be a few team managers and officials looking at that afterwards.
Nordash, perhaps the biggest surprise, the World Championship silver medalist from last year. Well, it's time now for one of the blue ribbon events of the athletics portfolio, the men's 1500 metres final, the metric mile. 3 3/4 laps of the track, and I can tell you, it's a massive field, 17 men. Several have been added because of falls in the semi-finals that were not their own fault. We just saw Jakob Ingebrigtsen going for the hat-trick, not just the hat-trick at 1500 metres, but the hat-trick at European Championships of 1500 and 5000 metres. He is a phenomenon, this man. 4 of the last 5 titles have been won by the Ingebrigtsen family, because his brothers kept winning it as well. Henrik in 2014 and in 2012, and Philip in 2016, but he's won the last 2 in Berlin and Munich. In fact, this young man has been hoovering up medals for fun since 2017, when he won the European Junior 5000 title, and he then had the audacity a few weeks later to win the European 5000 senior title after that junior title, and then the 1500 at 17, a unique double. Pietro Arese of Italy, he's a 3:32 performer. For my money, not amongst the favourites, but we have to be prepared for surprises now with these Italians outperforming themselves. We saw Neil Gurley briefly, I think, on the outside, did we? He is a Briton who was in fabulous form, looked quite supreme in the qualifying race a couple of days ago. Adel Mikal, he's one of the favourites too. The Spaniard is a 3:30 performer, very experienced, one of the oldest in the race. Mikal, 5th in the Tokyo Olympic Games and 4th in the 5000 here, so he'll be running with a little bit more frustration in his belly. Watch out for Azdin Habs, the bronze medalist in the European indoors last year in Istanbul. Could be a big danger. He's a 1:43 man at 800 metres. Morocco to France back in 2019. He won the Marrakesh Diamond League 1500 3.5 weeks ago in 3:32. Pretty easily from George Mills, the silver medalist in the 5000. There is Gurley. I wasn't sure if we'd seen him or not, but Neil Gurley, what he promises to be a real danger here. 4th in the Eugene Mile in 3:47. Looks great in heat on Monday. The winter before last, he set a then European indoor record for the mile. 6th in the world indoors a couple of years ago. The Giffnock North AC athlete from South Glasgow will be wanting to go well here, having missed out on the world indoors in Glasgow back in March through injury. Indeed, Gurley has had osteitis pubis through Budapest last year and was very frustrated to not give his best there. Ingebrigtsen, though, starts as a very strong favourite. He goes straight to the back here, as he did in his qualifying race. His power, his speed endurance is quite remarkable. But this is a high caliber field, a field of the very, very highest order, with 2 or 3 men here who have gone under 3:20, under 3:30 rather. Ingebrigtsen is the European record holder, and it looks like Fontes is going at a reasonable lick. Now, I wonder if there's a little bit of teamwork going on here from the Spanish. His nickname, Nacho, Ignacio Fontes. There's Ingebrigtsen, 2nd from the back at the moment, but this is a fairly crisp first 300 metres, and they go through there in almost exactly 41 seconds.
It'll be fascinating to see whether these athletes look at the stature of Ingebrigtsen and think they're fighting over other medals, or whether they think Jake Whiteman and Josh Kerr, both Europeans, both Brits, both Scots indeed, can beat him at the World Championships. Why can't I do that at the Europeans? And no man has ever won 6 golds at the European Championships. Marita Kott, Sandra Elkasevich, 6 and 7 respectively. Let's see what Ingebrigtsen can do and whether others can challenge. Neil Gurley there on the outside, making a move. He's been unlucky in the past, as you were saying, but he's also consistent, determined, and he often gets himself into sensible positions. He's done that here.
Well, he has indeed. It's gone from last to first in about the space of 300 metres. Gurley on his shoulder, but now they're letting him call the merry dance. He likes to control things, and they're letting him control things, and that, I fear, is an error in these circumstances. The Italian Riva there, up into about 4th place at the moment, but Ingebrigtsen moving very, very smoothly. 59.66 that lap as they come round now to less than 2 laps to go. They go through 800 meters, and the time there just not quick enough. This isn't really testing anybody. 1:55.9, although for a championship that's not bad. Adam Fogg is in there as well, a little bit of pushing and shoving. You see the discomfort of being in that pack. This big field isn't helping those in the middle of the pack. And Ingebrigtsen is away and out of all that trouble. But Gurley in 2nd place is tracking him here, stride for stride. He had to rest in September, October last year, doing a lot of cycle training. He was devastated to miss the World Indoors in Glasgow. But Gurley now right behind Ingebrigtsen. And what has the Norwegian got in his locker as they come to the bell?
Incredible how the others are just waiting and watching for the move now. Ingebrigtsen, he was so cool, so calm in the heats. Riva it was tracking, was the 2nd fastest qualifier. He has great form this year. Italian indoor title over 1,500 and 3,000.
Riva on the shoulder of Gurley now. Ingebrigtsen winding it up. He's so hard to go with. It's so imperceptible, his acceleration, the way he winds it up. And look at this, Gurley, we know he's in supreme form. A 3:47 mile recently, and he's struggling to go with Ingebrigtsen here, who leads the Mary Dance still. Look at that pack behind him. The Pied Piper of Norway comes round the bend into the straight, and Gurley looks beaten, as does Habsin alongside him. Coming down the outside is one of the Italians, and he's still looking really strong there. It's Arese down the outside. Ingebrigtsen takes it there, and it's Belgium taking the silver. Brilliant running there from, I think it was Vermeulen. What a strange, strange old race. A championship record of 3:31.96 there. The winning time for Ingebrigtsen is confirmed as 3:31.95. He did all the hard work. The 1:55.800 time was solid enough. But Vermeulen, perhaps the most surprising silver medalist in a strong field has been in many, many years in the European Championships. And Arese, it works its magic again. Home advantage for the Italians, a surprise bronze medalist. And a real shock to me that Neil Gurley couldn't get near those medals, dying over the closing stages.
Well, it was that party piece, it was that joker trick, it was a game of cat and mouse. Ingebrigtsen on the accelerator, and also becoming the first middle distance athlete in history to win 6 gold medals. Vermeulen came through behind, excuse me, but Ingebrigtsen breaking his own championship record, of course, was 3:32.76, 3:31.95, and it didn't even feel like such a vast race when they were all queuing up to see if they could come past. There was almost a force field between Ingebrigtsen and the rest.
How do you break the dominance of Ingebrigtsen? How do you unlock it? I'll tell you what you do, I think, is you don't let him get to the front like that. You don't let him drift to the front and control things. He loves to do that. That's what Mo Farah used to do from a lap and a half out. He'd just wind it up and everybody let him do it. Here you can see Ingebrigtsen playing his own game. He'd probably have won it however it was run. That's a 10-metre winning margin. He destroyed them over the last 300 metres. Athletes like Gurley, who run a 3:49 mile indoors, taking a pounding there in the latter stages. Real shock result. 2nd and 4th for Belgium. Nobody could have expected that if they'd had 1,000 bets on the race. What they could have expected is that this man would come home in 1st place. A hat-trick of 1,500 and 5,000 metre titles. Quite astonishing, and the Olympics is coming. His build-up, even though he's had 2 races this year, lost to Josh Kerr in Eugene, and then won in Oslo with a dive a couple of weeks back. His build-up towards Paris is going to plan after a difficult winter with lots of injury problems. He's going to be a dad soon. He married his wife Elizabeth last September. His life is changing in many respects, but the medalling remains the same. Gold again for Jakob Ingebrigtsen. Gold, goodness knows how many he's had over the years in different distances, in distant events. We know he's the Olympic champion, and on this form, he'll retain that Olympic title. Brilliant stuff there from Vermeulen for silver and Arese of Italy behind the Belgian for bronze.